Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Brewer's Apothecary. And so very glad that you could join me today out on a hike on a beautiful, beautiful Michigan weekend and here in June, and just absolutely beautiful. And just want to pan around to show you out in the forest on a hike this morning, and come across a plant here that I want to share with you here in just a moment. But I want to kind of give you an idea of the habitat that I'm in here, but going to zoom in, and the plant that we're actually going to talk about today is this guy right here. This is Solomon seal, also known as Polygonatum biflorum, and this is just an absolutely fascinating plant. Now, as you can imagine, as I was here in the forest and as I was panning around, and so we'll talk a little bit about the habitat that it grows in. So it does like to grow in woodlands. There is a small trail right here that is traveled a little bit, so it does like to grow around edges of trails as well, but in woodland areas, especially if the soil is very rich and also will remain moist. So that is one of its very favorite habitats to live in. This is a fascinating plant. I only came to know about this plant a short time ago and have been out trying to find it in the woods, but I come across a plant that looks very similar to this and never have been able to actually find the plant until last year, and was actually able to harvest some of the roots, and I'll show you some of the dried roots that I have later on in the video, a picture of those, but also have some fresh roots today that I've dug that I want to share with you as well, so that you can see what those look like. Now, Solomon seal, again, a wonderful plant, and it is recognized for its medicinal properties. And when we talk about medicinal properties, there are actually quite a few that it does have. It is great for anti-inflammatory if you're looking for something to help with joint pain such as arthritis or any other type of inflammation. It is great as an anti-inflammatory. Now, when we actually talk about what part of the plant that we're going to use, most commonly we're going to use the roots. Some people in their practice may use the leaves, but for me, most common, I'm always going to use the roots. Dried roots as well. And this is also great. It's also known as a demulcent. Now, as a demulcent, it's going to soothe and dry irritated tissues such as the lungs, the throat, or maybe even the intestines again. Also is great at helping with stress resilience and also hormonal balance. And that is one of the top reasons why individuals do consume Solomon seal, is to help with the stress support for the resilience for stress support, actually, and then also hormonal balance. But something else that it is highly prized for is how well it does to help with tendon, ligament, and cartilage repair. And when I show you the root, when I first found the root, I was just actually kind of blown away. And just because of the design. And we'll look more into that here in a few moments when I actually show you the root. But this is also great as a mild astringent, so maybe for minor digestive issues or even problems with bleeding as well. Also, it is used, there are some studies that do indicate that this also does help with menstrual help in some cases. So again, just a fascinating plant. The most common way that you are going to consume this will be through a tincture. Now, in my opinion, that's going to be the best method to take it, is going to be through the tincture. And to make that tincture, what you're going to do is you're going to harvest the roots of the plant. You're going to dry those out, and then you're going to take and you're going to chop those up, and then you're going to add those to some type of alcohol. Now, it needs to be somewhere around 80 proof, and then you're going to let that set for 4 to 6 weeks. Cool, dry place. After 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to want to strain that out, put it into an amber vial. That is in my opinion, the best method to store that, in amber dropper vial, so that you can use it. And for the dosage, that many times when people say, well, how many dosage? I would say anywhere from 5 to 20 drops, maximum 1 to 3 times a day would be, in my opinion, sufficient. You always want to start on the lower end of the dosage scale. That way you can work your way up and you can determine how your body is going to respond and work your way up as you go. Now, I will show you in just a few moments a look-alike that you have to be careful with, but I wanted to show you first the roots. Now, these were some of the roots that I were able to harvest, but look at these are just absolutely fascinating. Now, these roots, they do reproduce by rhizomes, and if you look, how much that just looks like a spine, and even more so when I show you the picture of the ones that I've dried previously, after you get them cleaned up, how white they look when they dry. So again, just absolutely fascinating. When you do clean these up, I'll clean off all of these little hairs here and then brush these off with a toothbrush and run it on some water just so I can get it clean before I go into my dehydrator. But again, they're just absolutely fascinating. Now, one thing that I will say that when you are digging these, they do tend to be very shallow, and I will show you an example here in a moment of kind of my process, what I believe is the best way to harvest. But again, this here is true Solomon seal. But typically what I will do, and I have my little handy dandy tool here, absolutely love this tool. But what I do is I'll come along, and I'm not going to do a whole lot, but I'll clean out down until I get to the actual dirt. And then when I get to the dirt, I'm going to slowly start to clean off. And you can already see the root there and how it's starting to run back to the left. And so I'll just gently clean off and keep going back, because you want to try to harvest as much of the root that you can. So I find that if you just take your time and just kind of work through the ground easily, you're able to harvest the most. Now, so as I talked about, there is an actual lookalike, and this is what's so fascinating about this, because this is actually true Solomon seal, and I do see this happen very commonly. But right next to it is false Solomon seal. If you look at them in trying to identify, you can see the leaves here. In my opinion, the false Solomon seal is going to have more of a woody branch there coming up, as this is a little more vegetative. And then again, the leaves do look very similar. I will say that some people are able to identify and distinguish between the two just based on the leaves, and you can kind of see there is a small difference, but there is a surefire way that you can tell the difference between Solomon seal, true Solomon seal that we have here, and false Solomon seal, and that is with the flowers. The flowers for the true Solomon seal, and there's no flowers on this plant because it's already dropped, but the flowers will actually be underneath. And if you look, you'll see some little dangly things hanging there. Let's see if we can get a side shot. But those will be where the actual flowers hang down. In opposite, for the false Solomon seal, you'll see that the flower is actually here on the end. So that's just kind of a sure way to be able to tell the difference between the two, is if you can find where the flowers are or have been. You'll be able to distinguish between the two. Now, false Solomon seal is also used for some medicinal purposes, not as common as the true Solomon seal, but it does have very similar medicinal properties as well. And you would go through the same process as far as harvesting. It does grow with the rhizomal roots. That's how it will reproduce. And then again, you would find it in very similar habitat. As you can see, these are actually growing right next to one another. When I'm going through the woods now, if I can find the false Solomon seal, which I think grows a little bit larger than the true Solomon seal, if I find it, I begin to look around and can typically always find the true Solomon seal very nearby. But again, this can be harvested as well and used for medicinal purposes. It does have some anti-inflammatory properties, also is used for a mild laxative and also as an astringent. And again, friends, Solomon seal out here on this beautiful weekend day here in Southeast Michigan. But I hope that you've learned something. I hope that there is something that you can take away from this video today and apply it. But again, Solomon seal, just truly a fascinating plant. As always, I hope that you have a great day, and thank you for joining us, and I hope that you will join us again for future videos. Take care and have a good day. Bye-bye.